Based on what we have discussed so far, you would want to agree with me that whosoever pays premium is considered the long, and the recipient of the premium is the short. So that we are all on the same page, let us look at this diagram. If you are dealing with the right to buy, that obviously implies that we are dealing with a call option. If you paid premium, then you are the long call. If you receive premium in a call option, then you are obviously the short call. If we are dealing with the right to sell, that is put option, and you paid premium, then you are obviously the long put. But if we are dealing with the right to sell and you received premium, then you are obviously the short put. The exercise price, also known as the strike price, is the fixed price at which the underlying asset can be bought if you are dealing with call option, or can be sold if you are dealing with put option by the long at a future date. So let's look at the concept of American style options and European style options. When it comes to American style options, the holder of the right, that is the long, can exercise his or her rights at any time. So what I watch out for is the A here, at any time. So you can exercise your right anytime, whether before expiration of the contract or at expiration of the contract. But there is also European style option, which implies that as the buyer of the option, you cannot exercise your rights anytime. You have to wait till the expiration of the contract. It is also worth noting that contingent claims, including options, have non-linear payoff diagram. Just as a quick revision, we agreed that when it comes to forward commitments, the payoff is linear. So we will explain this on the next slide. How do you remember this payoff diagram? See this as the landmark. All positions above the landmark is long positions. All positions below the landmark is short positions. How do we know whether the long or short position will go with call option or put option? We agreed that the gain related to the call option is unlimited, or better put, the payoff related to call option is unlimited. So if you are a buyer of a call option, you will have unlimited payoff. If you are a seller of a call option, you will also have unlimited loss or negative payoff. But for put option, the payoff is limited, so it is bounded here on the left. So that means everything you have on the right should be call option, and everything you have on the left should be put option. So I need us all to be able to remember, if I do something of this nature, what are we dealing with? That's long call. If I do something of this nature, what are we dealing with? That's short put. That's it here. It can be traced, and so on and so forth. Let's move on. Still on options, the big question here is payoff the same as profit? The big answer is no. Payoff is not the same as profit. Payoff refers to the benefit or the value realized on the day the option is exercised. But when it comes to profit, profit takes into account the payoff and also the premium. So that we are all on the same page, what is the payoff? For a long call, the payoff for a long call is the maximum of 0 into bracket ST, that's at expiration, the stock price at expiration, minus exercise price. I know some candidates do not like to see this. If you don't like to see maximum, you can replace it with the higher of 0 and what we have here. It's worth noting that if the whole of this is negative, let's say minus 5, between 0 and minus 5, it is obvious that 0 is higher than minus 5. So if the payoff for the long call is this, after you are done with the calculation of a payoff for the long call, let's say your answer is plus 4, and that means the payoff for the short call will be minus 4. To calculate the profit for the long call, first you need to write out the payoff for the long call, which is this. Once you are done with that, then minus the premium that was paid. To be more specific, the call premium. Once you are done with calculating the profit for the long call, let's say your answer is plus 3, then that means the profit for the short call would be minus 3. Still moving on to put option. The payoff for a long put is the maximum or the higher of 0, and this as X, which is the exercise price, minus S capital letter T. If you are interested in the payoff for the short put, you should calculate the payoff for the long put, then simply put a negative sign in front of it. If you are interested in the profit for the long put, it will be minus the premium. So you need the whole of this, which is payoff, then minus the premium. The premium for the long put is peanuts. Once you are done calculating this, whatsoever your answer is, if you are interested in the profit for the short put, what you need to do is put a negative sign in front of what you have calculated here. One note of warning, always calculate from the perspective of the long. Whether you are dealing with long call or long puts, always calculate from the perspective of the long. Whether you are interested in payoff or you are interested in profits, always calculate from the perspective of the long. Once you have the answer to that of the long, then the short becomes easy. What you just need to do is to put a negative sign in front of the payoff or profit. So I have the summary of what I've discussed here. Let's move on. By now, I want to believe we should be fine with the payoff diagram. Now let's move on to the profit diagram. Bear in mind that when it comes to the profit diagram, it takes into account both the payoff and the premium. Let's use long put as an example. This is the payoff diagram for long put, but we know that the long put will have paid premium. So because of that, the profit will be down because of the premium that was paid. And this would be the long puts profit diagram. If we were interested in the short puts profit diagram, because the short puts will have received premium, then at that point the premium will increase the short puts payoff. So we can draw the profit for long call and short call. For long call, it is obvious that this is what we have for the long call. So premium will have been paid and it will bring this down. So what we will end up having is something of this nature. So the profit diagram for the long call would be this. For that of short call, the payoff is this, but the short call will have received premium. So this will be up. So if we were to draw this, this is what we will end up having.